welcome. This is the Champions Den. I am Naomi Oba on the program. This is to remind you that if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, click on the subscription buttons to get our notification. And today I'll be meeting with an important personality because this is what we do. We give you important people who has climbed the ladder of success and has achieved a lot. Then we are right there asking, how did it happen? But remember this quote from Winston Churchill that states that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Today, as I said earlier, we'll be meeting with Adetonwa Yemi, who will be telling us his success story. Stay back and don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just joining the program, this is the Champions Den. I am Naomi Oba. Today, like I said earlier, that we're meeting with Yemi Adetonwa, who is a serial entrepreneur. He is the former chairman with the Community Development Association in Alta Zone, that's the CDA, and he's also the youth pastor in RCCG Ogun Province 21. Like, he has achieved a lot, but we want to find out how he got to that point. So here I present to you, I will not say pastor because he said he doesn't want to be called a pastor, but here is Yemi Adetonwa. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Naomi.
And I will say greatly, you have a nice place. Yeah, it's really a nice place.
I appreciate that.
Okay, now to begin with, we have heard a lot of stories about you. We have seen a lot of things you have achieved. Like, it has been an encouragement to us. But let's begin with this question. How was growing up was?
Well, I was born into a family of 5, and we grew up in Mushin.
Okay.
Then we moved from Mushin to Ilupeju.
Yeah, Mushin. Like the Mushin something.
Yeah. From there, I gained admission into Poly,
Okay.
now called Abiola Polytechnic.
Okay.
So I studied accounting. Initially, I was given marketing to study, but I made up my mind that I want to study accounting. So I joined the school with accounting, and I graduated in year 2000.
Okay.
And from there,
Life begins. Okay, looking at a lot of things that you have acquired, like people see you to have acquired a lot, especially with the landed property. How did you come up with all of that?
Okay, the issue of landed property, I think I got an inspiration from the experience of my parents.
Okay.
And I remember while we were in Lupeju, it got to a time that my parents were forced out of the house.
Wow.
To move out because the landlord said they want to use the apartment.
That's serious.
I got that inspiration. Then my dad now has to remember that he has a property somewhere. So we moved down to Songo to an uncompleted apartment. Just because we needed to have a place to stay. So from there, I was in school. So when I came back from school, my mom would take me through the environment for me to see some of the factory workers that work within Songota, to see them that they have their own apartments. I remember one particular one, we followed one to his apartment, and he entered into his and mom said, see, this guy is living in his own house. Though not completed the bungalow, but he has a roof over his head. So since then, I made up my mind that would be one of the first things I'm going to work with. So when I came out, I work with a business. I work in an audit firm first. I joined an audit firm. I Shonubi at Ilupeju.
Okay.
Then I have to go and be scouting with a family. I was scouting with a family of almost 6. And I don't go to bed until the entire family go to bed. So I have to sleep on the couch in the night. And I also have to wake up early enough to also help the family to take care of
Chores.
their shops, and they have a poultry that I have to manage, take care of it before I go to work. And from I was doing that regularly. And after some time, I got another
Job.
No, I resigned because the stress was a bit much.
Okay.
So I came back to Songo and I was at home. And after 2 months thereabout, I got another job here in Songo,
Okay.
beside Anglican church there in Songo. Yeah.
Alright.
So I helped the man. The man is a police officer, a senior police officer. So I built the place, a kind of a small restaurant. I built the place up, and BTM, we call it BTM investment. So I was there running up and down the things for the man. So almost a year again, I got another job in Kidetawo.
Wow.
So I joined Kidetawo as an auditor in VI. So I have to move again. So from there again, I was cutting with a pastor friend,
Okay.
and I had to sleep on a mat in a room.
That's serious.
Sleeping on a mat for more than a year.
Wow.
So because I was actually working towards getting married, and I have to wait for my wedding. So from there, I remember a particular day that I joined the samples, and they are picking the particles of the mat for my
Seriously.
back. Everybody knew that I was sleeping on the mat.
That's
So
serious.
somehow to, but I never mind. From there, I got married. Since we have made up our mind that we are going to have our own apartment, we got an apartment in Abulegba. We stayed there we paid for 1 year, and God did it. We have access to loan in the office where I worked then, and I was able to save some money, and we were able to secure a land. So after maybe a year again, I moved to my uncle's house. So I moved to my uncle's house, so I was paying. It was a free apartment for me.
Okay.
So from there, God did it again. I joined another organization called Nafang Auto Nigeria Limited.
That's serious.
So as an auditor also.
Okay.
So I was with Nafang for like 2 years. There was nothing like an impact. I wasn't getting what I want, no result. It was strikes for me. And it's as if you are nobody there. Or as if you are not being recognized and things like that. But one day God came to my age, and the MD then came in and said, what have you been doing in this office for so long?
For so long.
I didn't know what you are doing. And I brought out some of the work I've been doing there. And before you know it, he said, okay, don't worry, Yemi. I will give you all the things you asked for. And that was the moment of change for me. And from there, the loan I've applied for in the office was approved, and I got the loan, and that was how I got my first car.
Wow.
And after then, we put the resources together to secure a land here in Songo Town, and we started building. And one way or the other, favors started coming in, and people started blessing us with one thing or the other. And because of the vision that we want to get an apartment, we have started building.
So all these were happening while you guys were married?
Yes, while we are married. Because I believe in two working together. And we agree together to do it together. We share our vision together.
Okay.
And she agreed with me, I agree with her. So we pull our resources together. My wife happens to also be a chartered accountant. So we work together, pull the resources together to achieve. When I don't have, she has, she brings it together. When I have, we bring it together. Even when there is no money again, I remember that she has to borrow from our office. We get a loan from our office for us to do things together. We roll on, and that's how we did it. So God gave us a house under less than 8 months.
Seriously?
We moved into that apartment.
That's serious.
So
That, wow. Like, this has really been a great one. But a lot of this caught my attention, but let me begin with one particular one that caught my attention. While you were still sleeping on the mat, you were in a relationship.
Yes.
How did she cope? Like, I'm particular about that. How did she cope?
I got engaged to my wife in 1999 while we were in school. we are in the same class.
Nah.
She is known to be a very serious-minded person. I'm also.
But not the spirit couple.
Well,
she's just being
serious-minded.
official.
She's very serious-minded person. And
Okay.
She's a Christian that I respect so much.
All right.
And from there, since we agreed together to move on together,
Okay.
so she knew my background and I knew her own background too. So
Okay.
we decided to pull it up. So anything that happened, we are there together to rock it. She visited me while I was sleeping on the mat.
Really?
We are there together on the mat. We talked together on the mat, and she knew what I'm doing. I knew of course what she's
She
doing.
has, because she accepted
She
it,
accepted
and
it.
you opened up to
Which
her.
we-
Okay, we are still going to go back to that. I am still very much interested in that.
Okay.
But let's talk about your experience with the other place, the last place you worked.
Okay.
You said something about why you were working. It was like you were not doing anything. It was like you were not recognized with all your efforts.
Okay.
And at that point, I'm looking at the aspect. What was the other thing that came to your mind at that time? After all, I'm not being recognized and I'm working. It's just like you're working in vain, but this thing is not coming. What was actually running through your mind at that particular time?
Okay. As at that time, what I remember is I wasn't recognized. I was actually doing the work of the auditor. You know, the procedure is that you audit an accountant. It's expected that you report to the managing director. But in this case, the reverse was the case. You are auditing somebody and at the same time reporting to that person that you are auditing.
Okay.
It sounds somehow. So there is nothing like auditing there, because if you are reporting to the same person you are auditing, so you will
There
not
is no
even.
point.
There is no point. So I just kept on filing all the job I was doing and make sure that I have documentation. So most of the recommendation we are not taking, or because you are reporting to the same person you are auditing. So one day I think the external auditor came and wrote a report that the recommendation by the internal auditor should be considered. So probably that actually prompted my MD, who is a white man, a Chinese man, that came to my office and said, yes, what have you been doing here? And I brought out my file. And they saw it in read through and they said, yeah, don't worry, I'll give you all the materials you needed. Even as at that time, I was about checking out of the organization. I've done several interviews again because I wasn't relaxing. I was just on the mood that I need to do something. Something must happen. So I went for interview that I even got into a stage of just negotiating my price, what I'm going to collect. But unfortunately, that period I was in North, so I couldn't complete that assignment. So it was stress. Not that I was that happy or comfortable that my work was not recognized. I was actually looking outside that I've got to get out of this place since I'm not being appreciated. But you know, God's plans are different from our own plans.
Definitely.
Something actually God wanted me to achieve in that place, and thank God I stayed back, and it pays off because I passed through it. I was able to meet people, get connected there, and the kind of assets that I had as at that time to some facilities helped me better.
Yeah, I think I got that point there, but the main thing for people to understand is that whatever you're doing, keep on keeping on, keep on doing it. Like one day it pays. Like yours, you were not, in spite you were not appreciated, but you were not discouraged in filing those things. Now let's imagine you were not filing those things. So at a point, it's just like, yeah, but what are you doing? You can just take your leave. You understand that? So it's more like whatever you're doing, keep on doing it and don't give up. Yes, we also identify you as a pastor. And your ministerial assignment is particular with the youth pastor.
Okay.
You will tell us what has been your experience with the youth. How was it? Youth are, so someone said youth are just let me say they are troublesome or they are just themselves. They are difficult to handle. But you tell us your experience so far with the youth, and this experience you're telling us will be when we return. Stay tuned.
Youth are peculiar people and you've got to manage them the way they are.
Okay.
Initially, before now, I've been managing youth since 2004.
Wow.
2004,
That's a
right,
long time.
in Abulega. And
Okay.
I discover over time that you've got to hear them out. Don't law your own decision on them and allow them to make the mistake they want to make, and
Okay.
you can now correct them. Then they can listen to you better. But at the initial stage, if you are trying to
Force
cancel
them
force things
to-
on them, they might not understand. But for some, God help them that they seek for counsel. Even the Bible says, out of the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So some of them understand that, so they always want to hear you. They are the kind of people that they have their highest secret in life. They find it difficult sharing.
I will not
with
say
them.
you are lying.
So
Because here we are.
so
Okay.
it's a serious one.
Yeah.
But for you to force words out of their
Their
mouth,
mouths,
is so
that
difficult.
is true.
So allow them to come out. They can hear you. But thank God, some of them are changing. We also passed through that stage, but it wasn't like
It wasn't
their own
as yes.
this. But understand them with their condition and try to manage them. Then
So
you enjoy them.
generally within the youth circle, what peculiar problem have you been able to identify amidst the youth?
Relationship. They are not. They won't tell you until they are about. They want to go to the altar. That's when they will come out.
3 months, Daddy.
That's when they will come out to you when they will get this relationship. Because really, they believe that it's their own decision.
Yes.
But you know, the mission we find ourselves is that you've got to let your pastor know just to guide you and to protect you, and at the same time, so that we won't have issue within the church that the brother
Yes.
talking to 2-3 sisters at the same
That's
time.
true.
But some of them, they don't believe in that. They want to take their decision. So whatever they happen, they want to bear it. But at the end of the day, they will still put the blame on the pastor. But God is helping us to manage them.
Now, well, with all of this, have you been able to solve some major problems with relationship, especially within the youth? Pastor, I asked her out first. I met him first. Things like that happen. Have you experienced any?
No, I'm not have such meeting, because one thing is this, I always made it clear to all my people that come. We go into a relationship without my knowledge, go and submit yourself.
Okay.
So that is a standing rule. So
when
they
they
don't
know-
really come to me for such.
For such.
They find a way of solving their problem among themselves, so allow them. There are some that I will know, I will just go and see if I need to. At least one way or the other, secretly, I try to come in and manage them.
Okay.
And look at them, because you got to allow them to express themselves. So when they made a mistake, you can know where to come in. But don't close. I don't really close my eyes, but I
Eyes.
come in from behind
Okay.
to manage them.
You're listening, no? He comes from behind. So when you think he's not watching, he is watching, even with the 4G. Now tell us how you have, what inspired you to become a youth pastor?
Okay. The only thing I can say is that I love young ones becoming something in life early enough. Like I told you, if my dad has a house up to 10 houses in Lagos, he wants it. But unfortunately, he wasn't looking in that direction. So when we were exposed, we went to school, went for service here, and in NCCF, different ministers from outside were invited, and your eyes were open to so many things. So you see young guy doing great things, doing books and things like that. So I made up my mind that if God can help me early in my life, then I should be able to inspire the youth to do certain things early, you know. So before even God gave me a house, I've been talking more about achieving success early enough in life. So I've been talking about that. Then we got our house. I got my first house at the age of 30.
Wow.
So So that has been
30 years.
motivating us. So I've been
Wow.
using that to encourage people. Come, you can do something. You can do something.
Really?
So
A
it's all about
completed
vision.
house or
A
the
completed
land?
house, a completed
Oh
house.
my goodness. That's serious.
So you
Wow,
can work
that's
it
a
out.
good start.
So that's what I've been motivating us, that everybody can achieve it, provided you can plan and you can have a focus.
That's true. Now, on the aspect of this success you talked about, people out there have been looking for. Like you ask a young child today and say, "What do you want to become in future?" And said, "I want to be rich." You understand? Everyone wants to be rich, and people have different ideas, diverse means. They don't care how it comes. They just want to achieve it, irrespective of how they achieve it. So, with your experience, can you please explain to us what's the easiest way in achieving success?
Well, number one is that you must know God. Let me just come from that direction. Know God and believe the plans that God has for you is of good, not of evil, to take you to an expected end. The moment you can underline that make it more easier for
Easier.
you. And if you are the type that believe in prayer, you pray more.
Okay.
And if you pray more, God will always showcase Himself. And there is something that people don't really understand, and that is the help and the favor of God. The Bible says, "By strength shall no man prevail." And it says that you can't achieve anything on your own. It even says somewhere that no one receives anything unless it's given from above. So that factor, that God factor, we miss it out. I was telling them in my church sometimes ago that your salary cannot take you anywhere. That the salary you are collecting, you think that salary you want to use to build a house. It's like you can't achieve it. That is where the God factor comes in. I remember while we were building the house, there are so many debts. You see this one, you are owing this one, you are owing that one. But one way or the other, God keep on helping you and blessing you one way or the other. Let me just be practical enough. I was an auditor in the organization. I went to audit one of our branches in Kano. And I did my job the way I should do it.
Okay.
I didn't even talk to anybody. I did my job. I will take some of the work I'm supposed to do to the hotel.
Okay.
And if I'm to spend 2 weeks auditing, I plan myself to spend 1 week to do the job thoroughly. Why? So that I can have some savings. You understand? And if I'm to fly aero contractor or whatever, I might decide not to go by air. I'll go down the road so that I can save some money. So I do save. So if I'm going to spend 2 weeks in the hotel, paying every day for the hotel for 2 weeks, so I might decide to spend like 4 days.
He's
in
talking
the hotel.
about sacrifice.
Sacrifice. So, and I have to go through pain over the night to do the work. So instead of spending 14 days, I end up spending 5-6 days. So I've been able to save some money for the hotel accommodation, save my feeding allowance, and from transportation, I'm able to save some things. All these things pulling it together.
And you started
That's
something.
That's something.
Wow. Ha, this is awesome. This is awesome. Success truly is not the final, and the failure is not really fatal. If you think that you failed once, you remain a failure. No, that's not the case. You can actually rise again. We have more stories and a lot of things to talk about on this program. We are still right here with Yemi, and he's giving us a lot of value. So don't go away. With Yemi Adeton, what we have been, he has been telling us about the favor of God, how God has favored him all through his journey and all of that. But we still need to know something in particular. Many people do not really understand that, because they will believe that you are talking about the favor of God. Remember that God will not come down from heaven to help you. So how will you address people in believing the favor of God?
Okay, I initially told you that prayer is a key. So if you pray, the way God will do things are quite different from the understanding of men. So I'm going to be a bit practical with you.
Okay.
I remember there was a project I was putting together and we got to a stage that I needed to have a paint on that project and there was no money. And I know that it's going to cost a lot of money
Okay.
to achieve that. So one fateful day, a man came in on a bike and I said that he's a painter, he can do this and do that. And I said, Oga, I don't have money to do this thing. I said, don't worry, don't talk about money. Just give us the job. Let us do it. And he said he's into painting and things like that. I said, okay, let's try. And I gave a quotation and we agreed on the sum of like 3 point something million. I said, Oga, we are not going to get this money. But that was the agreement. I said, just give us a go ahead.
That's serious.
And I gave him a go ahead and he started the job.
Without a dime.
Without a dime. He has done up to almost 45% of the job before I even gave him a dime. And it was a wonderful project. So that is favor of God.
That's great.
And I started paying bit by bit and God was able to clear up that debt.
Wow.
You know, things like that happen. And I can also give you another example. Remember the second project that we started and before you know it, I wanted to start the project and I have 100,000 naira.
Okay.
And God said go ahead. And I did. I wasn't expecting any money from anywhere. I remember that the people that I give job to, you know, as a contractor in the office, you work in an office and you give contract to
Yes, yes.
people. You know, they believe is that you've got to ask them to give you something.
Yes.
But I wasn't doing that. I'll do them the job, especially the agent that clears our container job. I'll do them the job, go and do the job. And I will never ask for it back. But one way or the other, I discovered that they will come back giving you something. That's organic. You know, without you asking. But one thing about me is this, you must do my job. Do the job of the office. I don't want to care what, even if you give me a dime and you didn't do the job, that will be strong. Serious struggle. They know me for that, but they kept on giving something. This people of God. Not that you are making a demand, but they give. So I kept on saving, putting the money together. I'm not just going to put the money in the bank, but because there is a vision, there is something I'm planning as well. I'm putting that money in that project. And that was how I was able to achieve.
I think what I particularly got from that is the value that you have added. So it's not all about the resources you're getting, but also the value that you have added, and the resource eventually comes back even without you asking. Now, your profile also gave us an idea that you are a serial entrepreneur. That means you are this kind of entrepreneur who is, you are diversified into different sectors. Now, how have you been able to manage everything just like that as a serial entrepreneur? How have you been able to manage it?
Let me just give you a little background of that entrepreneurship issue. My mom happened to be a businesswoman.
Okay.
She sell drinks, beer, so to say, there when we were in secondary school. And I was staying in the shop with her, and I managed her business with her. So I learned a lot of things from her. So from that time, I discovered that you can't live on your salary. Whatever salary you are collecting, you can live on it. So there is some other source of
Income.
and that has been my message to the youth ever since I was done. Because they want me to do something, find something to do. So when I started having little resources here and there, my wife decided to say, why she's even the shadow account. So she decided to be second things. So I decided to start little by selling drinks also. So I was selling drinks. All we did, I get this sponsorship of some drinks. I don't have money. I have to join some dealers or something like this.
Okay.
This is what I want.
Alright.
So I have to change, give me some goods. From there, I started going gradually that I secure two company membership.
Wow.
And I started doing that together. And from there, I've had the mind of having a painter business several years ago. So when there was money, I started buying shares, plastic shares, gradually. Today, if I have money for 1 dozen, I have money for
Right.
2 dozen.
Wow.
I was just, and the thing kept on increasing that way. Till
Wow.
God gave us a vehicle that we can use, and that's why we started executive rentals. We started executive rentals. So we moved from executive rentals to the management center.
Wow.
We have today, like this one.
Hmm. So you have the rentals, you have
The pet
the-
shop,
the
yes,
pet
yes.
drinks for shops for drinks, and you also work with like a hall. You have hall.
We have an
Event center that you give out on rentage also. That is a great one. What an achievement. Whatever you have, start saving. Start saving. Start saving. Like I am emphasizing on start saving. You also made mention of something that you can't depend on your salary. You can't depend on your salary. I want you to still emphasize on this, because many people feel I am doing a white collar job, I am satisfied, and other people who see themselves to be to have maybe a business they are running, they feel I'm okay. So it mean that saying that we can't depend on a salary or a particular source of income, does that mean if I have a business I'm running, I still need another business?
Okay. For a businessman to have a business is running, it depends on his vision or ambition.
Okay.
The kind of business you want to run. Now, for a person that is doing a white collar job, collecting
Salary.
if anything happens to that job at any particular time, no other source of income that will come.
Okay.
But the moment why you are still earning monthly salary, and one way or the other you decided to invest part of that salary into
Okay,
something, and that will be bringing certain
amount
income
of money
to you
Okay.
that can take care of some certain things.
Okay.
It means that you are preparing for your future. In case the job stop, you have something to fall back on to
Okay.
start doing.
Yeah.
For example, COVID-19 came in
Yes.
and everybody got stranded one way or the other.
A lot of people got laid off from work.
From work. Those people that got laid off from work, if they don't have anything they are doing aside, it's continuously sleeping at
That's
home.
true. That's
They
true.
end up begging for money. You know, but if you have one or two things you are doing, then you have something to live back on. I was actually working and COVID-19 came in. We didn't go to the office, we didn't do anything, but I have a place that I have to go to run. So that's one way or the other generates some little income to manage the family and to be able to take care of some other things. So that's why it's not
Get other source of income. Now let's navigate back to the aspect of you being the chairman of the CDA, because I know you don't want to talk about politics, but irrespective of that, I'm still going to talk about it. As the chairman, I would say that you have experienced leadership within the political sector. So I want to ask, what can you say about Nigerian politics in your own opinion?
Okay. Politics, like you said, I don't like it. I don't go into it because if you are a straightforward person, you can't be a politician in Nigeria. They will kill you. That is the plain truth, because I'm the kind of person that I love being straightforward. I will tell you, yes, this is yes, this is good, it is good. And you can't run politics like that. But in the community, I just have passion to make things work where I stay. I have passion to make everybody to come together. Let's achieve something we can do. That is my passion, not for the main politics in Nigeria. So I was invited in the community to everybody unilaterally decided that this should be our chairman, probably because of one or two things God has helped us to put in place when we moved to that community. So we decided to take it up, and God helped us to make things work. So we have this kind of a leadership trait that the opportunity of bringing people together, and they can listen to you. They respect your opinion. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. We started it and it was working. It was working. So it helped us in the community that we are able to achieve so many things within God, I think I spent 4 years plus as the chairman of the zone.
So we'll say one tenure went.
One tenure went, I was asked to come back again.
Wow.
So finally I have to forcefully say no, let another person come in and sort that. So within that period we were able to achieve so many. There was no light when we came into the environment.
Okay.
And some people believe that it's not possible, you can achieve it, they're going to shop your money, they're going to eat whatever. But I took my gun and I said, no, nobody is going to eat your money. Let's do it. We started running around, seeking for help here and there, and before you know it, we were able to connect on that too. Bought it at 33 kV transformer, and we were able to connect. Today we are having lights. And we did some other things, putting the rooms together like that. And the new person that came up is also working in that direction. My passion is just to make things work in my environment, not the politics of Nigeria.
And I will still pull your legs on that, because making things work and being the chairman, let me ask you this.
Former chairman.
Your former chairman, yes. So let me ask you this. If by privilege or anything you happen to be the president of Nigeria, what will you change? What will you invent? What new thing will you create? Just tell us what you know you can make happen.
Okay, there is this understanding that most of us can say so many things, that this and this I will do when I get there. But getting there and you can see
Something different.
everything open to your face like this, you can see that how do you want to solve this one? How do you want to solve that one? How do you want to solve this one? So your promises might not be able to fulfill them.
Okay.
So I will only just say that personally, I don't say the government are not doing well. So, but personally, if I get there, I want to take things step
By
by
step.
step,
Okay.
step by step. Like for example, I might decide that the only thing I want to focus on during my tenure is to take care of the roads.
Wow.
Let us have a good road.
Yes.
If you want to do everything together, you end up not achieving anything. So another person might come after my own tenure and say that it's food.
Yes.
Another person might come
Yes.
and say his own is something else. So, but a gathered step, you can't do everything.
So
if I'm able
it's
to
like-
manage the road network of Nigeria within 4 years, and I'm able to do it perfectly,
Then you
good.
can go to another.
Economy will begin to pick up.
Yes. So you are particular with identifying a particular problem and solving
Solve
it,
it.
not gathering everything
Everything
together. Nigeria is celebrating independence. What can you say about the state of the country at 60 years? 60-year-old man is old enough to be a grandfather, and even at some point, great-grandfather, sir. You understand? But what can you say about the state of the country at 60?
I think we are trying, because Rome is not built in a day. American today started somewhere, and whatever they have achieved today, it takes processes. So Nigeria is still we are still learning a lot of things to go. But like I said, so many things are gone. So celebrating 60 with what? No good road, no electricity, all the social amenities are not there. You pay out of your nose. Even Atlanta government is coming up with something now that you have to, for digging a borehole in your house, you have to
You
pay
have to
when they are supposed to supply you water, part of social amenities. But so good, we should still appreciate God for where we are, and we should continue to pray for our leaders that they will do better.
We will do better. That's really good one. Nigeria at 60, we can be better, we can be great. Still with Yemi Adetowa. We have been talking about him on his success story, where he has attained his success. So definitely he has a lot to work on, like he has a lot of plan on mind. But we are still talking with him on his driving force. So you were talking about earlier on how you move from one job to another job, and from one job to another job, and other people would have given up. I'm tired, and people would have been asking, what are you looking for, young man, that you have not gotten from this job? You're just jumping from one job to another job. But what has been your driving force?
One of the first things is that I have a focus. I want to achieve something. Devil have painted a picture that Yemi, you can buy a brand new television in life, and it was as if I want to settle for less. I can go for, if I can't buy a brand, I will go for Tokumba. But one way or the other, I got exposed to some messages and reading books, and I discovered that I can be an average person.
Okay.
I can move ahead, and I made up my mind since then that no, I will get it. So if I discover that I'm getting into a tight corner that will not make me to achieve my vision, I want to be on the move. I want to be on the move. My target has been that where I'm going to, I want to get there.
Yes.
And by all means, I must get there. The only thing I cannot do is to cheat others. The only thing I cannot do is to work. But through working, I want to make sure that I get there. So I don't eat with the whole of my hand. I make sure I have savings regularly because of the tax
ahead.
And that has been my...
So everything you worked with majorly was a vision, and you went with the focus. You focused on that vision to achieve it. That's really nice. And let's have a clue on the aspect of relationship. The other time you told us about you sleeping on the mat, and at that time you have the person you want to get married to, and she has even visited. Like, not every lady can do that. So I, as a lady, I am standing on behalf of the ladies now, so let's be particular about the ladies. I, as a lady now, coming to meet my man sleeping on the mat, feeling comfortable, like it sounds funny to most ladies out there. But what can you say? How can you address this situation in the aspect of relationship?
Remember that I was actually squatting with a family, and the best they can offer me is to get me a room, and I got a mat that I can sleep on. And my wife today wasn't complaining as at that time, because our home relationship as at that time was purely based on love and God instruction.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, if I want to physically look at what I desire, probably I would not have gone for her, but because I could see future in her, and she could see future in me. So all those material things are nothing to really drive hope about, because we know that we have a better future. And one of the things then was that, you don't go into a relationship without letting your pastors know, and it helps you somehow to really stand in the relationship and believe in the relationship.
Okay. Like, I am so particular with that now. Okay. Now let's look at the part of meeting a pastor.
Okay.
Now, when we say meeting a pastor, people believe that you go. I would say that a lot of people do not really believe in meeting a pastor for my relationship. And I would say I beg the pardon, or I beg to be corrected. At a point, people have lost quality relationship because of pastors, so to say, according to some experience. And some people got talking that I went to a pastor, we prayed, pastor said it's good, and in the long run it wasn't fine. So how would you address pastor intervening in relationship, and the pastor praying for relationship to work out before marriage? What can you say about that?
I think there is a misunderstanding in that area.
Okay.
Pastors are like a counselor.
Okay.
They are not in the art of saying that this is the person you must marry.
Okay.
In our own case, then it was that we needed to have a spiritual guide to what we believe that can happen.
Okay.
So it's just for the pastor to pray along with us that this is what we want to do. And secondly, to also have orderliness in the house of God, so that it will not have been a case of a brother have come already talking to that same sister, another brother is coming to talk to that sister. So it's for orderliness in the house. So no pastor will come and tell you that I have prayed you and this is what God is saying. Go ahead in that relation. Pastor is not going to live with you in that marriage.
Yes.
God is not going to live with you in that marriage. So it's a decision. So as a pastor, I can't toast your wife to be for you. So that the woman will not take it up with you one day and say that, see, you cannot even talk. It was your pastor that came to toast me for you. No. The man has to be a man. He has to go and talk to the woman.
Talk to the lady. And I think that part is one interesting part that also got my attention there. The pastor is not to meet the lady on the man's behalf. No. Some pastors have this idea that when you see a lady you want, come and meet the pastor and the pastor will talk to the lady.
No,
so it is not the pastor that should talk to the lady. The guy should do the talking. Right.
The only thing the pastor might do just to hear the view of the sister for orderliness sake, he might just hear ask the sister, maybe there is any brother that can be talking to the sister before the brother can go ahead and talk to you. If somebody have been talking to the sister, the pastor just will probably, like what we said, that most you don't want to talk with their pastor. So the sister might have somebody she's going out with already, and the pastor is not aware. So for orderliness sake, the pastor might just use time to ask the sister, is there anybody in your life? Do you have anybody dating? Just for curiosity purpose. And if there is nobody, they can pray together and say, okay,
brother, go ahead. Yes, let's find out about your greatest challenge all through your journey.
Well, there are several challenges all through my journey so far, and I know there will still be more as I grow up. Unless if you don't want to grow, then you have any challenges. If you don't want to have challenges, then you
can grow.
But there is this particular one that I established an electronic business, and we started it the second year we attacked. Within that year, we attacked almost 3 times. Wow. The first time, I said, okay, no problem, it's part of the challenges.
We pick up again.
The second time, the same thing. The third time, we could not. So we just said, okay, let's move out of this environment and face something else. So it was as if my vision for that electronic business was just truncated one way or the other because of the environment, and it's born down on failure of government too. So if government have actually provided all the necessary, we won't be having such issue. So I have to move into something else that I think God is saying, okay, do this, and that's why we're having the percentage.
Okay, so you're not seeing that challenge as a bad omen. People will as an omen rather. People will actually say that it means that God is not in support of such.
No. If you are the type that do analyze things, we discover that there are so many environmental factors that affect what you want to do. But in deep parts of the world, you try to trace things to my father, this, my that. No. Just believe in yourself and believe in God, and this is what you're trying. So if anything happens, look at the other way. How can I do it? The person that formed this fluorescent tube has so many experiences before he was able to achieve. If he has said that he's somebody that not allowed me to achieve, we probably will not have. So you can achieve what you want to achieve. Believing in yourself and be focused.
Yes, be focused. So give us a general advice for the
youth. Like this syndrome, this what they used to say that sharp. They want to make money. Very easy. I want to drive a Lamborghini. I want to be on top of the world. There are processes to success in life. There are ladders that everybody must pass through. If you are not ready to go through the ladder, it's easy to come down. Money make within a day, within a table of an eye, just making money. You can't know how to sustain it. The processes will give you experiences of sustaining success. If you don't go through the process of success, you can't sustain success.
Wow. Youth out there, you can clearly hear this. the ladder to success is a process. So you just can't get it in a day. So what are you out there looking out for, and what do you really want to achieve? It's still the Champions Den, and this is all we have for you on this episode. We want to especially say thank you for having us today, and thank you for the values you have given to us. Like I will say that we learned a lot, and I believe everyone out there is also learning from your story. So you can also get your success not in a dubious way. It's not all about the internet fraud. A lot of people believe that until I go into the internet frauding, I cannot hammer. Hey, I can hammer even without the internet fraud. That is what we have for you today. And I'm leaving you with this quote from Albert Einstein, which says that try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. The truth is, from that quote, when you give values, you get success. But it's not all about achieving the success. Let me tell you, both of them work together, success and value. But you cannot get success alone without giving values. But first and foremost, you must give value. It's the Champions Den. Don't forget, always subscribe to our YouTube channel, Official TCD, and on Facebook you can follow us at the Champions Den. I am Naomi Oba. Till I come your way again next time for another episode. Stay safe.